I will pour on the house of David and on the inhabitants. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. So, Zechariah 12 just so happens to be the 923rd chapter of the Bible, of the Old Testament. So I figured that out last night. I started looking into it, and I think there's a lot in here that we missed. So I'll just start from the beginning. I'll read through it, stop at a couple spots and explain some stuff, and then I'll go back through and lay out everything for you guys. Okay. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretcheth forth. Let me switch over to this translation. An oracle, the word of Yahweh concerning Israel. Thus declares Yahweh, who stretches out the heavens, founds the earth, and forms the spirit of humankind in its midst. Look, I am going to make Jerusalem a cup of reeling for all the surrounding nations. It will also be against Judah in the siege against Jerusalem. So it's saying whenever the siege against Jerusalem starts, it will be a siege against Judah as well. And then on that day, I will make Jerusalem a stone weight for all the peoples. All those lifting it up will grievously hurt themselves, and all the nations of the earth will assemble against it. On that day, declares Yahweh, I will strike every horse with confusion, and the one riding it with madness. But over the house of Judah I will keep my eyes open, and I will strike every horse of the peoples with blindness. That's an important one. And the clans of Judah will say to themselves, the inhabitants of Jerusalem are a strength to us, through Yahweh of hosts, their God. On that day I will make the clans of Judah like a pan of fire among sticks of wood, like a torch of fire among stalks of grain, and they will devour to the right and to the left all the surrounding peoples, and Jerusalem will be inhabited again in its place in Jerusalem. And Yahweh will save the tents of Judah first. Yahweh will save the tents of Judah first, so that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem may not be exalted over Judah. Very important. On that day, Yahweh will put a shield around the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the one who stumbles among them on that day will be like David, and the house of David will be like God, like the angel of Yahweh before them. And then on that day I will seek to destroy all the nations coming against Jerusalem. I will pour on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication, and they will look to me whom they pierced, and they shall mourn over him as one who wails over an only child, and they will grieve bitterly over him as one grieves bitterly over a firstborn. On that day, the wailing will be great in Jerusalem, like the wailing for Hadad Rimmon in the plain of Megiddo. And the land shall mourn, each clan by itself, the clan of the house of David by itself and their wives by themselves, the clan of the house of Nathan by itself and their wives by themselves, the clan of the house of Levi by itself and their wives by themselves, the clan of the Shimeites by itself and their wives by themselves, and all those clans remaining, each clan by itself and their wives by themselves. That's an interesting part at the end there. It shows you that the bride is separated from the rest of the people. It's kind of interesting. That hints to what else is going on here. So go back up to the top. Okay. An oracle, the word of Yahweh concerning Israel. Thus declares Yahweh, who stretches out the heavens, founds the earth, and forms the spirit of humankind in its midst. Look, I am going to make Jerusalem a cup of reeling for all the surrounding nations. It will also be against Judah and the siege against Jerusalem. Right, now I'm going to switch over to the King James Version so we can understand that a little bit more clearly. When they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. So whenever this siege happens, I think Judah here is talking about the bride of Christ. Jerusalem is Israel, the Jews there. In that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. In that day, saith the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. We don't ride horses around. Not anymore, but we do drive around in things that use horsepower, cars. So many people have been talking about like what's going to happen whenever we get raptured. People are going to be just like disappearing out of their driving vehicles. It's going to cause all kinds of chaos and death probably. Right here, it's saying that, oh, lost my place, hold on. I will smite every horse with astonishment. The cars won't work. The rider will be in madness. He'll be watching all this stuff unfolding and being like, what the heck is going on? I will open mine eyes upon the house of Judah. God will be keeping watch of us in this time and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. Every vehicle will be shut down. The governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength in the Lord of hosts their God. In that day, I will make the governors of Judah like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf, and they shall devour all the people round about on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. So, like I said before, I think Judah in here is the bride of Christ. In that day, I will make the governors of Judah like a hearth of fire among wood, like a torch of fire in a sheaf. In this version, it says, a pan of fire among sticks of wood, and like a torch of fire among stalks of grain. Wait a second. Okay, now it's referring to grain like wheat. So, let's go to 1 Corinthians 15. Check out this real quick. I tell you a mystery. We will not all fall asleep, but we will all be changed. In a moment, in the blink of an eye at the last trumpet, for the trumpet will sound. At that moment, the moment that the trumpet sounds, the dead will be raised imperishable. And at the moment the trumpet sounds, we will be changed. We don't meet them up in the sky until afterwards. We're going to be on the earth in our glorified bodies. I don't know how long, but going back through the rest of the stuff in Zechariah 12, we'll see kind of what's going to happen here. So that verse in Zechariah 12 we were just looking at is talking about God glorifying our bodies. I will make the clans of Judah like a pan of fire among sticks of wood, like a torch of fire among stalks of grain. We will be glorified among everyone else on the earth. We will devour to the right and to the left all the surrounding peoples. And Jerusalem will be inhabited again in its place in Jerusalem. I think that when we get our glorified bodies, there's going to be something happening in Jerusalem, like a fight between us and, man, I don't know. But this is crazy. After that fight, whatever, I think we might take back over Gaza. Or, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Jerusalem will be inhabited again in its place in Jerusalem. I don't know. And it says that right after it says that the glorified people are devouring to the right and the left. So it could mean that the glorified people in Jerusalem will be, I don't know, moving some people out, it looks like. And Yahweh will save the tents of Judah first. What is a tent? A tent is a tabernacle. The bride of Christ is the temple of God. We're the tabernacle of God, the tents of Judah. Yahweh will save the tents of Judah first, so that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem may not be exalted over Judah. They denied Christ. We accepted him. God is making sure through the rapture that Jerusalem, the Jews that denied him, are not exalted over us. On that day, Yahweh will put a shield around the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the one who stumbles among them on that day will be like David, and the house of David will be like God, like the angel of Yahweh before them. I don't know, man. It's saying the weakest person in Jerusalem in that day will be like the angel of Yahweh. On that day, I will seek to destroy all the nations coming against Jerusalem. I will pour on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication, and they will look to me whom they pierced. This is after the rapture happens. They're going to know. They're going to see Jesus. And they're going to know. They will look to me whom they pierced, and they shall mourn over him, as one who wails over an only child. And they will grieve bitterly over him as one grieves bitterly over a firstborn, the firstborn among the dead. They witnessed the resurrection, the second resurrection, the rapture of the church. They were grieving bitterly. They witnessed the one that they pierced. Man, this is powerful stuff, guys. On that day, the wailing will be great in Jerusalem, like the wailing for Hadad Ramon in the plain of Megiddo. And the land shall mourn, each clan by itself. And then it goes into talking about down here how the wives are separated from each one of the bride is gone. Guys, this has been in front of our face the whole time. Zechariah 12, this chapter is the 923rd chapter of the Old Testament. The rapture of the church, being us being on earth in our glorified bodies, devouring people, is in this chapter. Like, oh, God laid it out all so perfectly for us. We just got to look. We got to search. We got to trust him. He is in control of absolutely everything. Even if Joshua came out with some lie from the devil, do you think God is not in control? Do you think he doesn't know what's going to happen? Do you think he hasn't been using evil events for our good this whole time? Every single thing that happens on this earth happens because it's directed by God. There are no coincidences. So if you believe in God, you have to believe that every little thing happens because of God, because God allowed it to happen. The people that are looking at the Holy Spirit pouring himself out right now on people, all of the dreams, all of the visions, all of the confirmations, and they're just denying it, they're fooling themselves. They're literally lying to themselves. Their pride and their feelings are causing them to lie to themselves. Because it's easier for them to accept that all this is fake, he's not actually coming back, than for them to put down their sin, or even just turn back to Jesus and repent and say, Jesus, my heart isn't right now. I'm scared. I'm laying myself back at your feet again, Lord. Change my heart, renew a right spirit within me, God, please. That's all they got to do. But instead, they deny. They call names, they mock, they scoff. guys, he's coming back. Just like he promised. We don't know exactly when. We don't know the day or the hour. All the signs are here. He keeps revealing these mysteries to us. How can you not see? I want to tell you guys about a dream that I had this morning. Like I told you in the video yesterday, I don't have dreams anymore, literally. And if I do have them, I don't remember them. Haven't had or remembered any dreams since last year when God gave me some other prophetic dreams. But I had the rapture dream. 2 days later, this morning, the first part of the dream I couldn't remember. It was again right before I woke up. I think God is doing that to make sure that I can actually remember what I'm dreaming about. But people's houses were getting broken into by, they looked like humans, but they weren't acting like humans. Like, so these things were breaking into people's houses and stealing people. And it was like the whole world was in a state of chaos. Everybody was hiding in their houses with like random people just trying to hide from what was going on. And these things were coming into people's houses and stealing them and taking them. And like people, I'm saying that they weren't acting like humans because when I was watching this happen, I was like one of the people running out of these houses trying to get away from these things that looked like humans. And it's like their reflexes were slow, or like they were a computer or something. They looked human. They looked exactly like a human being, but they didn't have reflexes like one. Like you could run past them fairly easily if you just like kind of juked them a little bit. They weren't acting like human beings, but they were breaking into people's houses, literally picking people up and taking them away. And then that happened for a while, and I went through a couple different houses with that same thing happening, and then it's weird. I got hurt or something, so I ended up having to like turn myself in. I guess I think that's what happened. I like ended up just giving up because I was hurt really bad and I needed to get healed, or I don't know. So I turned myself in, and they put me in some room with a bunch of like sick, dying people. And it was a tiny room with people literally crammed in there together. And right before I went to go sit down in this room next to all these sick people, I look behind me and I literally see my uncle. And he's like one of the people that brought me into the room, and I didn't know. So I turn around and I look at him and I'm like, Uncle Lynn. His name's Uncle Lynn. I was like, Uncle Lynn, Uncle Lynn. He looked at me, but he didn't see me. My uncle didn't see me. What was looking back at me was not my uncle. He had one human eye, and his other eye, I guess it would be his right eye, it was a little bit bigger than his other eye. It was super white, and it's the pupil or retina or whatever it was in the middle of it was like moving. I don't know. It was a computer eyeball. It was AI something. I don't know. But it was not my uncle. And after that, I woke up. But yeah, that when we get raptured, right before we get raptured, guys, stuff is going to be unveiled. Things are going to happen that have never happened on this earth before. The day of the Lord, the beginning of the day of the Lord, it made Daniel feel the way that it did because he saw what was going to happen. Yeah, this is not good, guys. There is going to be death and darkness for a long time. And we have an opportunity now to share the gospel. We have an opportunity to make our hearts right with God. And we have to. There's no other option. If you're a child of God, you've got to run to him right now. You've got to chase him down, literally. Reading his word every day, praying as often as you can, asking for his will to be done, because we don't know what's going on. And we have to trust him. We're down to the wire right now. It could literally happen at any moment. Guys, keep looking into this. Keep looking into 923. Keep searching the scriptures out. There's so much stuff we haven't found out yet. God bless you guys. Have a good day.